And for teachers, parents, even the therapists set realistic goals. Sometimes we, including myself as a therapist, we tend to expect a lot from the child. The child is already giving his best.
I would like to say that once people around you comes to know that your child is under the spectrum, firstly they stop including them, and then the parent as well.
True.
So that's like really a disadvantage, and that is why the parents don't believe in sharing.
This is one advantage of school-based therapies. So not only do our children, children with extra needs, learn to mingle in the expected social environment, socially appropriate behaviors, but the other children, the 80 or 90% of the children, learn to accept. So at an early age, we are teaching them inclusion and inclusivity and acceptance.
So here we have with us our professional, who is Dr. Dhara Desai. She's an occupational therapist. And here we have with us Sonam Patel, who is a parent of a child who is on the spectrum. So both of you, welcome. And yes, this is what makes the Dolly Show unique. We have a parent and a professional, and we're going to have loads of discussions and a lot of things that we will unfold for parents. So yes, first and foremost, I would like to hear from you, Dr. Dhara. So how did you start your journey? You being an occupational therapist, how did you get into this field, and how did it all go about?
So frankly, very initially, I wanted to become speech therapist.
Okay.
But in the admission rounds, I got selected into an OT college.
Okay.
But then I realized that, this is a really creative field. And then when I did my master's, so my mentors said that I was good in two areas, either psychiatry or pediatrics. But then I feel I'm very silly by nature. So I thought psychiatry, the adult patients needs very mature approach, which I feel I would not have been given enough. With children, I can be very silly. So I thought same level types. So we could relate more. Yeah. So then finally I entered pediatrics. And of course, then it has been a learning curve since then.
So as far as I have, gone through your profile and everything, so you have your own center, which is Prayatna.
Yes.
So how has your journey been, developing Prayatna, and how has it all been?
So with Prayatna, it started when I moved to Ahmedabad post-marriage. So initially when I started there practice, so I'm lucky enough to meet Nikisha. She's my partner and friend. And we have together brought Prayatna to this level. So when we started, there was absolutely no awareness about autism or children with extra needs in Ahmedabad. So I would all get children with age 9, 10, 12, 14. And it's really too late for some areas to work on. I mean, then the intervention does not happen or is not guaranteed. But of course, the training part keeps continuing. They would not be able to guarantee the parents that, okay, we will bring about. And I always had to use the word may. We may see a change. But that has changed over last few years. We did n number of awareness programs in schools, preschools. We met different doctors. And we got good support from word of mouth. And then with the social media, we do try to create more awareness. Now it has reached a stage, now we get children as young as 4 months. Parents identifying. Of course, there's awareness in all areas, the radio, TV, So now the parents are more aware. So recently we had a 4-month-old child. The parents feel she's not giving eye contact. So we're more than happy, at least. Yeah. And the children whom we treated 10 years back, now they're doing well in their life. So just a very big win for early intervention.
Feels like an achievement.
Yes. Yes.
Great to know. Yes, we have Sonam ma'am with us, and she has a lovely son who is Nisham. And we would really love to know, ma'am, how has your journey been? Initially, how was it that you diagnosed? I mean, What were the signs? What were the symptoms? How did you, end up that, yeah, I should go to the doctor. There is something wrong.
So basically, Nisham was born with rubella. So he had a hole in his heart. He had cataract. He had hearing issues. So till 3 or 4, we were unable to diagnose, or because he had hearing issues, so he was not speaking. So we thought that it might be due to the hearing. Then he had delayed milestones. So we were not much into autism, or I was a mom at 22, so I was not even aware of so many things. So when at around 4, we saw a little bit of change in him, like he was constantly, looking at the wheels of cars, then flapping and doing some repetitive actions. Then we consulted the doctor, and then we went through the assessment. So there we came to know that, yeah, he has autism and even ADHD. So from there, of course, it's hard for parents to accept. So we were going through a lot from the time he was born. So it was like a new diagnosis. I was totally, I broke down in front of the therapist itself. But slowly, it takes a few days to sink in, and then you just start thinking, okay, what you need to do next. And when you accept, nothing gets really easy. You are going in right direction. You start consulting the therapist or the people around, and you come to a solution that, okay, then I will start this therapy and I will just go ahead in this way. So I come across so many parents who still are, they have accepted, they have their own share of struggles or whatsoever. They are going to the therapy centers and everything, but still they are not vocal about it. They don't want the world to know about it. So initially, I too was the one of them. I was not, even when I created my Instagram account, I wasn't very inclined towards sharing his journey. I just created the account to share some few tips and hacks, parenting hacks. But someone, 2 or 3 friends of mine were insisting me कि शुरू तो करो, you can do much more. But I was very skeptical. And even if you see Instagram, there are so many influencers around. So it's like a race these days to gain followers or to reach the right set of audience. So it was really, I was not very much inclined towards it. But the first post I did was about his delayed walking, and it gave a good traction. So basically, my Instagram journey started from there. I started talking about rubella first, and then when he was diagnosed with autism, I was quite active that time on Instagram. So I had shared everything there. So basically my journey from a 22-year-old girl to now I'm 30. So it's like I see myself evolve a lot. Now there are people coming and saying that your journey has inspired us. Even when I feel that, okay, it's not working out for me, Instagram isn't working, I am not very consistent in posting, I feel that I will give up now. There are messages that comes in, and it motivates me a lot. So then I start again. So the journey has been really phenomenal till now.
Wow. So nice. Yeah. That's great. So yes, coming back to you, Dr. Dhara, explain us about occupational therapy. What exactly is occupational therapy? And then next, what part does it play in autism, and how does it benefit the children?
Okay. So our main goal of occupational therapy is to make the child or the patient, any age group, functionally independent. So if we are talking about children right now, the main occupation of children is split into 3 parts: academics, activities of daily living, and play. Okay. So all these 3 areas, if the child needs any support, any push, any guidance, then we are here to help and chip in. Okay. So now, of course, there are other subparts, the hand skills and the gross motor skills, but the main 3, these areas we help with. With respect to autism, so we work mainly on the triad of autism: So attention and focus, sensory issues. With respect to speech, we work on the cognition part. So the samaj. So for example, how in school we had read the paragraph and answer the question. So for children to communicate and converse, this is the paragraph. And then what did you do in school is the answer the question, right? So that understanding that what is really happening, no? So verbal comprehension. So if I give them some command, are they able to verbally comprehend my command? They know the mug. If I say put the mug on that top shelf, they know the mug, they know the shelf. But are they really comprehending the command, or are they relying on my gestures?
Correct.
So that cognition part we work on. Now, cognition has many subparts. So we had one lecture earlier where I covered this. So I'll just summarize. So attention, focus, eye contact, sitting tolerance. These are variable components. Then comes the academic part, which is more of rote memory. So the children learn the recognition. This is table and this is mug and that is lion and mango and fruits and shapes. Then comes the variable part, which uses those eye contact, focus, sitting tolerance, and rote memory. So clubbing together, using it to converse. So I know tiger, I know mug, I know hot, but am I able to tell you that this is too hot for me and I'm not able to hold this mug? So expressing your needs, wants, concerns, grievances, likes, dislikes. So we know there's a gap. When the children learn to communicate initially, they may start learning, like they just repeat. Maybe there's echolalia, what we call, or they just give one word replies. But then we want, there's a gap. They're not able to say, oh, I don't like Dhara, I don't want to go to her center. Or I like Dhara, I want to go to her room only, not do this. So those things, yeah. Or if something happened, then I like disc swing, but I don't like tire swing. So these mild, they may be able to tell you through gestures, but the focus that we are having is use your words. Yeah, behaviors mostly result. Any speech delay child having speech delay will show behaviors. Because example, if we have toothache and if we are asked not to talk for 3-4 hours, I also become very irritable. So imagine the child, the entire life he's been struggling. Yeah, and we are not able to understand. So even though we do put in, everyone, the parents put in efforts, teachers, therapists, but there are some gaps which we are not able to understand. The child simply loses it. And so that behavior is a symptom, like fever is a symptom, but the root cause is malaria or dengue. So behavior always has an underlying cause, which when you provoke or when you calm them down and ask them, there's always a reason. Yeah, it can be as simple as the child. We had one child, so he's a very cute, very non-violent child. In fact, he's very fearful child. And that day he came, the mother also was very upset. The school teacher complained that he hit someone. And unfortunately, the child who was walking ahead fell down and got hurt and started bleeding. So during therapies, we settled him. And once he was then we asked him. So he uses short sentences, but it's like, what we call it, tuta-futa sentences. We combined with gestures. So I asked him, what happened? Did you push him? So he accepted that I pushed the child. He wanted to go home because now the school has just started and he was very excited to go home. But the child ahead was walking very slowly. So he wanted to tell him to walk fast. But because he has no words or he didn't know how to frame that exact correct sentence, he pushed. That was the easiest way to make way. Yeah. So this behavior was pushing a child. But the root cause was that he wanted the child to move fast, or he was excited to go home. So this, if we are able to peel off the layers and teach the child the correct word, that next time you tell this or next time, then half of the problems are solved. But of course, as a parent and as a therapist, we can't we can't teach them everything. So that is what is cognition. So learning and generalizing. So you do see children who write at school but will not write at home, or will do exercises with me but not at home. So that generalization is difficult because they have formed patterns in their mind. Okay, this at Dhara's place I'll do this. With Mama I'll not do this. With Mama I'll have my phone time or screen. So those to break that patterns, and so this is what in short an Otis does with respect to autism.
Wow, pretty much well explained.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Sonam ma'am, I want to know from you, what all therapies have you involved Nisham in, and how have you, how did you identify which ones and what kind of therapies he needs?
Okay, so we just moved to Mumbai recently.
I also, yes. I was going to come up with that question
Yeah.
as well. Why you came from Kolkata to Mumbai?
Yeah.
So yeah, explain that as well.
Okay. Yeah. So in Kolkata, we
Mm.
were taking OT and special education as well.
Mm.
And he was going to an inclusive school. So, but there were few areas where we were unable to figure out or get proper help.
Mm.
And we were looking out to matlab get proper guidance in terms of, his diagnosis or like he had hearing issues.
Mm.
But we were unable to figure out what to do next with that.
Mm.
So, and even my husband was looking out for new opportunities. So he got something in Mumbai and then we were all ready to move. But obviously, coming out of the comfort zone is tough. But yeah, we came here, settled now, and he is, as of now, he is going for OT, and we have started speech just recently last week. We couldn't start speech previously because he was very, he had ADHD, so he would keep moving and he would not sit. Thankfully, recently he had started sitting a bit and it has improved. So we started with speech recently itself, and he is going to the school in the same therapy center itself. In the morning he goes. So it's like a morning to evening show. So in the morning he will be going to school, in the evening therapies. So it's like crazy the whole day. So as of now only OT and speech we have started.
And what challenges have you faced? Because you say he has hearing issues as well. So incorporating these, it's obviously another challenge, added challenge. So how do you incorporate these therapies and how does your therapist work on all of this?
Yeah, so basically he has been through eye surgeries as well. He was born with cataract, so he has that eye issues as well added because he is wearing specs and that's like of high power plus 18, 19 karke. So with specs also sometimes it's difficult to understand that he is finding it difficult to find the object or it's just the autism or some of his. So it's really difficult, tricky with him.
Yeah.
And as he has hearing issues, his right ear has profound to severe hearing loss, though he is unable to hear from right ear. In the left, he has mild to moderate. So basically, we try to talk to him from the left side so that he gets to hear more. So we have said the same to the therapist and even we have informed the school. So that is one of the things. And even at home, we talk like a little louder because that's how he will understand and listen and respond. Recently has started responding well as well. Matlab pehle we call him Nisham, he would not respond. But now he will respond. And few of the instruction following like bring your shoes or maybe water, khana khane chalo. So it has he has shown a really good improvement in terms of instruction following as well.
Wow.
And of course, he's non-verbal, so we face the challenge the Dhara ma'am said. So he gets aggressive at times. There are meltdowns, so it gets really difficult. So when we moved from Kolkata to Mumbai, it was a new change. He came from a big house to a small house in Mumbai, of course. It was a new place. Everything was new, happening in his life, like a new place, therapy center and everything.
Correct.
So there was a phase that 1 week was really very challenging for us. He was hitting, he was scratching. Literally, our hands were full of scratches and dark patches because he was at that worst phase. So that one, and he was just unable to sleep itself. Matlab, he was sleeping, but he was sleep deprived totally. So at one point of time, we started melatonin for him. It was prescribed by the doctor previously as well. So we started that, and once he started getting proper sleep, it was improved. And then this hitting and scratching, pinching, this also decreased slowly. Yeah. So basically, speech delays means, is tough for them. They are unable to express and you are unable to figure out what they want. it's always like a guessing game. You are guessing why is he crying. You are maybe giving Colicate. Sometimes you are like pata nahi kahan dard ho raha hai. You are giving Calpol, or you are trying to just figure it out.
True. So yeah, we really know we have, in fact, we have put in a lot of blogs as well on this. That when you shift from one place to another, yes, for these children it's really tough, and it takes quite a bit of a time for them to accommodate and understand and then get used to the environment. So yeah, if you could tell us a bit, or maybe you might have learned from this situation. So if you would like to really give some tips to the parents, what are those things or some things that their parents need to take care about?
Yeah, first is we should always stick to the routine, because if that is not followed now, they just get cranky. So firstly, this routine should be followed always. So even when we were traveling, we carried everything that he used to eat, because he doesn't like to try new texture and anything that is like chewy. So we tried to carry everything that he likes, so that it gets easy for him. And then for the one of the things would be distraction as well. So for example, he loves walks, or maybe we take a cab and go for a round. So it really helps him. So we follow that as well. And then music is something which calms him down. So we play it on the phone, or maybe sometimes in the laptop, and that even helps. So these are the few things, and of course you need to carry the toys that are familiar to them, because again they don't like new changes, and it triggers them. So we carried all the small cars and toys that he loves, and that also helped.
Great. So yeah, because these are tips that new parents who are in this situation for the first time, it's really helpful for them. So yes, thank you so much, ma'am, for these little tips. Yes, coming back to you, ma'am. So as I very well know, Prayatna also has collaborated with many schools. So how do you incorporate this, your therapy with the school setup? So how does that?
We have many protocols and SOPs in place for that. So we in school we've been given a resource room. So nowadays CBSE has it is mandatory to have a resource room in the school with an autist and special educator and a counselor as a part of team.
So needed,
Yeah.
and so amazing
Yeah.
that this is
Correct.
being
Yeah.
incorporated, because initially schools never used to accept these children. Now that times have changed, we have therapy. So it's such an amazing change.
And most of the teachers and parents are cooperative. So we reach a midway. So the child comes to resource room. The therapies are within the school premises, and some of the children may need extra support in form of shadow teacher. So then the shadow teacher is present in the class. We guide her, teach her how to handle and manage, and we have regular PTMs. So things most of the times go smooth.
Wow. So how is it like? In the entire day, each day the therapy is set up for the child?
After the assessment, depending on the needs of the child. The more severe needs, then the child comes every day. And if the child the child has achieved few goals and overcoming, achieving age appropriateness, then we start tapering off. We don't stop suddenly, we taper off gradually over a period of few weeks. So,
Yeah, parents find it really difficult to find a good school for their kids.
True.
It's really
And as you said, first he goes to school, then he comes back, then he has a therapy center that he has to go to. Here, it is so good. I mean, I also want to know, when the child goes for this, supposedly coming to the school, but also going for therapy. So then again, when they are back home, again have to
not
go to
all, but
therapy
some
center? So-
some parents opt. See, if they have resources, like it's really a big task to take child to therapies and all.
Correct.
Many of the parents are working, and if they have support in form of family, finance, if they have resources, And if the child really needs, or they feel that, the child is doing better, let me give one more push. So there are few children who come outside for therapies too. And some children don't really need that much therapies. So it's manageable within the school premises. Because it's a school, so not every child is very severe also. We have a huge spectrum. Some of them are just ADHD, some of them have just learning difficulties, some of them have autism, but they're managing school. And so it all comes down to the parents' decision ultimately. So the parent decides, then like, if they need, we do recommend, but if the ultimate decision is of the parents.
That is so amazing. I mean, I find it like a dream that, child is getting the entire care that is needed, a school setup, then therapies, and then that, all the theory and everything, the practical, everything is being incorporated and put in place.
And then this generalization, that what I spoke earlier, is easy for the child.
Correct. Correct. And the teacher and the therapist also.
And everyone is on the
Yeah.
same page.
Correct.
The teachers, parents,
And the
therapists,
therapists.
shadow teachers, if any, everyone is on the same page.
An ideal setup, I would say.
Yeah.
In spite of this, also there are, of course, sometimes the child has lots of concerns, or we run into obstacles. Child having some medical condition, simply viral fever, and then we see a regression. But okay, at least we have resources in place, and we are equipped to deal with it.
Correct. All those things are also for
Part of
neurodivergent-
life. Yeah. Yes.
So that is like
True.
it's basic things that need to
Yeah.
be taken care of. Wow, that's so nice to hear that from where we were to where we are now. It's a long journey that has been taken care of. Amazing to know this. Really nice. So yes, coming back to you, ma'am. In school, so you said he does go to school. So what are the challenges? Are there any bullying, or what kind of challenges does your son face?
Basically, the kids are all special needs itself. So
Okay.
they are very accommodative. They are very empathetic. Yesterday itself, I saw one of the child. She's a girl. She's unable to walk properly. She must be like 13 or 14 years old. So the second one was really like, okay, come with me. I will take you through. No, don't worry. You will not fall. So it was really nice looking at them, because when you go out, you see kids who are like, अरे ये तो पागल है, इसको कुछ नहीं आता है. ऐसा भी होता है. Because I faced this with Nisham as well. There was one kid who had that remote wala car. So Nisham is very fond of cars, of course. So he was running behind the child and the car overall. So first day he was fine. Second day he was like, अरे तू फिर से आ गया, अरे ये तो पागल है, ऐसे कुछ नहीं समझता ऐसे वाला. And when the सामने वाला भी बच्चा है, तो you can't even say much, So it's really difficult. You feel that kahin na kahin empathy is lost. You feel really broken that time. But I saw that in the school yesterday, and it felt really good. So it's like everyone is very supportive. They know each other well, and they are growing up in an environment where they learn inclusivity.
In fact, I would really want to highlight this point that neurotypicals, I think, should be taught.
Yeah.
This is one advantage
yeah.
of school-based therapies. So not only do our children, children with extra needs, learn to mingle in the expected social environment, socially appropriate behaviors, but the other children, the 80 or 90% of the children, learn to accept. So at an early age, we are teaching them inclusion and inclusivity and acceptance. So like what happens is, with the parents may have concerns, and they have reservations. Are ye bhi hai class mein, all that. But with these children, because since early childhood they have been seeing children with autism in their class, or children with disabilities in there, they are used to, and they are used to helping them. You see, children are innocent. Normally they have lots of compassion. All this is learned behavior, discrimination and all. So if you teach them at an early age, that this generation, when they grow up, we don't have to teach them again. So in fact, they will teach 10 different people, and that it would grow only. The empathy and compassion would grow more. So
It is the job of the parents,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
If we all together work is only
True,
when these children will be in an inclusive world is
True.
what my thinking goes.
True. And like we see in every profession, that there are good children, good
Yes,
and
yes,
there
yes,
are
yes.
right. No? So most majority are good and with good intentions, and they tend to help out. So we have a buddy system.
Correct.
So normally everyone helps out. Okay, I'll sit today. I'll sit with him,
Yeah.
and they help out also. Okay, So they know that the child needs more support. So everyone will clap for the child. So that extra form of encouragement goes a long way. Then the child feels okay. If I finish my writing and they clap. Now every day I should write.
Correct.
So half of our problems are solved there.
So nice. I mean,
Yeah.
encouraging these children.
True.
These little things, they
True.
do matter.
True.
They do matter. So, Sonam ma'am, one important question that I would like to, ask you. These children are not admitted in the mainstream schools. So, what is your thought about this?
Yeah, the parents find it really difficult to, send this kids to school. I came across a parent who stays in Delhi, very reputed school. The school knew that the kid is under the spectrum, and they in fact said that, yeah, we are inclusive and it's okay. We will take him. So after some time, what happened is the kid is not even much hyperactive. He is very calm child and very अच्छा बच्चा एकदम. तो उसके बाद after a year or so they said कि नहीं, we can't. They even took the fees and everything, and then they said कि नहीं, हम नहीं रख सकते अभी इसको, and आपको निकालना पड़ेगा. And they were not ready to give the fees back too. So they were like fighting for it कि कम से कम पैसे वापस दे दो जब you are not continuing with the school. And it's just the beginning of the class. So that was one of the cases that I came across. And in fact, when I put this across on social media, there were parents coming and saying कि हमारे साथ भी ऐसा हुआ है. And then there is a very small WhatsApp group of autism parents. मेरे WhatsApp पे है. So that's from my Instagram they have come to WhatsApp. So it's not a big group, a small one. तो उधर भी ऐसा था कि there was one mom who was like in March or April who went for admissions, but नहीं मिल रहा था admission. She was totally shattered कि क्या करूँ मैं, because नहीं हो रहा admission. And when they come to know कि autism है, तो they say कि नहीं हो पाएगा. Either the seat is full or maybe कि नहीं, मतलब हमारे पास ऐसा inclusive setup ही नहीं है. So like Dhara ma'am said कि जैसे इनका था सेटअप कि स्कूल थेरेपी सब एक जगह पे, ऑल द किड्स आर स्टडिंग टुगेदर. तो वो सेटअप अगर हर जगह रहे तो इट्स लाइक a bliss. Yeah.
But to be like this was unfortunate. But now many schools are giving admissions. And at least in Ahmedabad, I know many schools there. No, we have children who come to our center from different schools and with official diagnosis of autism. So not that the schools have been denying them, or some of them go with shadow teachers, of course. But at least with that much support we can provide. Even in Mumbai now things, when I was a fresher and after 17 years now, the times have changed a lot. Totally. Of course, I'm not saying 100% schools, but yeah, the numbers are rising steadily now. Maybe with this new education policy, things will change more now. Yeah.
Which says, you cannot deny admission to children if they are on the spectrum or any special needs.
And you know what happens? Me being a mom to an autistic kid and even the kid who is non-verbal, it's difficult for me to send him to a mainstream school. Means without a shadow teacher, of course. So it's like, what if he has some triggers and he hits someone? So we know that he must be triggered with something, but what सामने वाला क्या समझेगा? The teachers or maybe the kid and their parents, will they understand what situation the child faced and why he went through that phase? So that is one of the fears that I have. So I literally have no intention of sending him to mainstream school as of now. So that is one of the things, because this also I came across Instagram recently. One of the moms her daughter was hit by some kid, and she said that the kid had ADHD. And I don't know, there was something that triggered me from that post as well, because the daughter who was hit, she hit the kid back, and the mom was saying, "Oh, good job." So it was really triggering for me, and of course, it won't allow parents like us to send our kids to mainstream school. So, firstly, the parents need to be very, very calm and empathetic.
Correct. And then trickle that down to the child as well, that the child also needs to be empathetic towards these children.
That's why awareness and all is important.
Yeah.
it is important.
Because there will always be one person who will never accept. Yeah. And it is our bad luck if we encounter them.
And even in general, kids fight, right?
True.
Yeah. So it's not like that we will go and fight with the parents.
True.
Which brings me to another question. A lot of myths and a lot of misconceptions that are there. So, would you all like to burst a few? So, yes, to start with you, ma'am.
Yeah, so there are so many actually. First is, I have heard parents saying that the doctor gave him medicine for speech. So even I heard saying her that उसका ना कुछ tongue loose हुआ जिसके वजह से वो अभी बोल रहा है थोड़ा. He has shown improvement. So in those cases, even you can't say much to the parent because they are very hopeful and कि हाँ medicines are working. So that is one of the things because there is no such medicines for speech. And so it's really
Correct.
bad. And then there were few videos on Facebook, going viral with lots of views. And there were like बच्चों को TV देख के autism हो रहा है. And they are vaccination is one of the reasons for autism. And there is no study to हाँ. So it's like and when you go through the comments, you are like, what is happening? Because they are like, हाँ, parents are very irresponsible. They give screen to the child. इसलिए autism होता है. Vaccination तो कराना नहीं चाहिए. And there is one parent who is following me on Instagram. She herself said that vaccination मैं नहीं दिलवाती हूँ अपने बच्चे को because he goes into regression phase. So I was like, but vaccination is also important because मेरे case में क्या हुआ कि he got infected with rubella. अगर that too is due to vaccination. I don't know if I got the MMR का vaccine in my childhood or not because I have grown up in a very small village setup. So I don't know कि vaccination कितना था कितना नहीं था. And it was an unplanned pregnancy. तो vaccination नहीं मिला उसके वजह से he got rubella, right? So it is also important. So it's very difficult to make them understand also.
What happens is when we give vaccines, at the same time, the symptoms start appearing 18 to 24 months when the regression happens and all. So the parents correlate that.
Yeah.
If that after fever he stopped speaking, after fever he stopped responding. So there's no definitive studies with respect to vaccines. And if you see the whole picture, vaccines are more beneficial than harmful. But there is a section of anti-vaxxers who strongly believe against going against vaccines.
Correct.
But in India, it's compulsory. So, ठीक है. In US and all, there's lots of controversy. The state-wise, they have different rules. So, in some states, there's compulsory vaccination. In some states, I don't know, like they have their own rules, and lots of anti-vaxxers are there. One of the other myth is like the minute therapies are suggested, like parents will owe now too much of financial burden, but there are many centers like which provide very low cost therapies, at least, or there are many alternatives like come meet us once. We depending on the budget or the financial setup at the parents. The parents can opt for everyday therapies, alternate day therapies, take home program and do it at your place. There are many other options. There are many sponsors. There are options. It's not that the words that the therapies have been suggested is at the end of the world.
I would really love to have the list from you, ma'am. so that we can put it across and send it to the parents. So if you could just give us a few that you know, we will definitely
All those that I'll send all those that
definitely.
that accept this Abha card and Ma card, they all provide therapies.
Wow.
Yeah, if they have a pediatric
Amazing.
setup inside.
Amazing.
Some of the rural ones don't have pediatric setup, but otherwise they all provide.
Wherever,
Yeah.
at least
All government hospitals provide.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there are many semi-government, like Cooper or Brahma Kumari hospitals. The semi part government, part charitable. They also provide.
Amazing. Were you aware about this?
Yeah, recently when we met the audiologist, she said that there is a very good OT setup in KEM hospital.
Okay.
That's a government hospital again. So she said that it's like free, yeah, for very minimal charges. So from there I came to know, but of course we need to do the research.
Super.
So I graduated from Nair Hospital. So KEM, Nair and Sion are one of the top 3 colleges. So where we study also and they provide therapies also. And they have good. Nair had one of the first government and autism school, ADI, Autism Dynamic Intervention. And it's a wow school. Not because I'm an alumni, but it's genuinely they have put in a lot of effort to set up and make resources available.
But then this comes to my mind, ki theek hai, it's Mumbai and we have that setup. But what about small
other
places?
Yeah, is what? At least now we'll have a list of this place.
Yeah.
Then slowly and
True.
steadily we will definitely have.
So this Ahmedabad, on the outskirts of Ahmedabad, there's one small town, Bolo, I don't know what you call it, very small
place.
townish like place, where they have CRC, so Community Rehab Center, and they're doing awesome work. Like I recently visited just maybe fortnight ago. They're doing really good job. And if you are a regular, like of course I would not give free services to everyone, but if you are regular, if you are a parent and you're coming to us regularly and I'm the CRC, then on basis of regular attendance and all, they give you commute charges.
Okay.
So you get people from all societal class coming there and they're doing a fab job. And I'm sure similarly many places must be having.
Yeah, definitely. So a few will get from you, few will get from other people, and then
we
make
can
a list and provide it to the parents, which will be really helpful for them. Amazing. Excellent. So yeah, I would really like to talk about your Instagram page. How we did, discuss how you landed up starting your journey on Instagram. But I would really love you to discuss a bit more and explain us about it.
Okay, so when Nisham was born, of course, I didn't want to discuss this with my relatives as well. I stopped taking the calls and talking to them and everything. Then we started with his regular, treatments and everything, surgeries. He has been through 6 surgeries till now. So there was so much going on. So I was just, there is, if you might know Baby Chakra.
Yeah.
So I was a community member there on Baby Chakra. It had a really fab community back then.
Yes.
So I shared my first post there. So people actually, they said really kind words, and it was, so I was sharing my journey there, basically rubella related, because that was the first thing, and I was not aware of rubella before Nisham. I didn't know what it was. In fact, none in my family knew. So from there, I started writing a bit. I had my personal Instagram handle, but influencer thing was something I was not even aware, because उस time उतना नहीं था. उसके बाद when I made the page Instagram का, and then I thought that I will share the normal tips and tricks, जो parenting hacks, everything. But when I shared the first post, it went well. So after that, I started curating his journey, like journey of Nisham hashtag karke. I started sharing. So that time also, I didn't have much special needs parent on my page. It was like normal page. So slowly, when few of my posts went viral, or few of my posts gave like really good reach. So from there, a few parents came in and they asked the questions, or they stayed, they commented that yeah, I'm selling the same boat and everything. So from there started. There are times like now also I'm not much active because I'm not getting time at all. managing home, then Nisham, school, therapies, and then work. So it's like crazy from morning to night. So there are times when I will just sit and take out the time. I have the list ready, content list ready, but I don't have time to shoot. And these days, all you can reel is something static. No one reads. It's the reel that is going viral. So you need to genuinely sit and shoot for that. So there are times when I just not active on Instagram, but then people come and say that and then it boosts me up. Okay, chalo theek hai, I will just shoot some weekend. I will take out some time and shoot, and maybe I will just put some ऐसे ही कुछ videos like playing with Nisham and with the captions and everything. So I do that as well. So abhi, as of now, I feel that ठीक है, my content has reached to fraction of right set of people, because of course they have recently come and commented on few of the posts and DM'd. So after a struggle of almost 3 to 4 years, I will say that I have reached that point where कि हाँ ठीक है, I am convinced that ठीक है अभी my content is reaching to the right set of people. So there, of course, even I have 15.7 or 8K followers now. So it's not that majority of them are normal parents, the influencers who are doing their stuff and everything. But there is like maybe some 1,000 people who are special needs parent, and we are like sailing on the same boat and we are in it together through Instagram. And also Instagram, when you do something, now there are people who will, of course, judge you. They will be like, "Yare, isko sympathy chahiye," and so she is doing this. And Instagram is all about fun and good lifestyle, good living, matlab hush hush life. Yeah. So amongst those people, it's very difficult to make your place there. So it's like, and I don't believe in sharing just the happy part ki chalo Nisham achieved this. No, I share all my struggles as well. I put up ki he is in this phase, he is hitting, he is pinching. That's the reality, and I put it up there. And there's like, this is my life and this is how it is. Yeah, being real is something which I believe in always. So it's not like cooking up something ki this is वैसा है, my life is so good, and nahi, we struggle, we also struggle financially, we struggle emotionally, we struggle physically, everywhere. So it's like ठीक है. But we are happy in the sense कि चलो, even after coming to Mumbai, it's like there is some kind of positivity कि we are going in some direction and things should work out.
Super.
And I always believe we always normally find our own tribe.
Yes, one big question, ma'am, that I would like to ask you is, everyone knows we want to build an inclusive world. But how do we do that?
So we had done on my center's page, the Prayatna EIC, we've done this reel on Autism Awareness Day, where I told few points. The first would be stop staring at the child and stop staring at the parent. That would be enough inclusion.
Correct.
The second would be, you can always give a kind smile to the parent. The parent is already struggling enough. She's about to have her own meltdown. So the least we can do is show some compassion and smile. In our daily routine life, we can include them on our social settings like birthdays, play dates, get-togethers. We can include them in community level as a where we have some occasions. So, for example, Independence Day celebration. It's okay if there's just one line song or just one paragraph song. It can be anything from playing piano to dance or singing or just speaking of something. For us, it may not be a big thing, but for the child and the family, it's a huge thing. If the child has participated at a community level. So, and if in worst case scenarios, especially like public places like markets, airport waiting areas, doctor waiting rooms, if the child shows meltdowns, then instead of just judging the parent or just, giving disgusted looks, all we can do is, just show compassion or try to distract the child. or let the parent handle. You
Yeah.
all stop staring.
Correct.
So this goes a long way. And I would just conclude this with just smile. Smile goes a long way in showing compassion. So
So yeah,
Such a simple tip, but it can work wonders for these parents and these children.
I would like to say that once people around you comes to know ki your child is under the spectrum, firstly they stop, including them, and then the parent as well.
true.
So that's like really a disadvantage, and that is why the parents don't believe in sharing.
Most of the parents who come to me say we've stopped going out socially.
Yeah.
Or one of us goes and one of us will take care of the
The
child.
child.
Mm.
I remember once we were in the mall, and that was very initial. And Nisham was like shouting or running here and there, and my husband was getting impatient. Then we came back home. I asked him what actually made you do so impatient. Made you so impatient? It was like people. You feared that people will judge him, or maybe people will make opinions about us. So he gave it a thought and said yes. So I said, "Ki, let it be. Matlab, let them judge. Let them say anything. It's your child, and
Exactly.
he's being a child.
Mm.
Normally, child behaves like this. That how a child he is behaving. So that's it. And that was a game changer actually. So that communication, I have also come across parents who, they abandon the child and the mother because the child was
Yes,
special needs.
Yes.
So that's really horrible thing to do, because of course that's your child as well, and
True.
you have to contribute. So it's always good to have that heart to heart talk.
Mm.
कि ऐसा करने का है, you don't have to do this, or maybe something, and it works wonders actually.
Wow. Yeah, you communicating rather than, just not discussing about it, but sit and talk and sort it out, which is so good. Okay, so which brings us to the end of the discussion. So, one tip that you would really like to give our audience.
Mm. So one would be inclusion, and for teachers, parents, even the therapists set realistic goals. Sometimes we, including myself as a therapist, we tend to expect a lot from the child. The child is already giving his best. The parents are giving the best, and parents also, they expect lots from themselves. So rather let us go step by step. Draw, we say bits of water fills the entire ocean.
Yeah.
So baby steps, and we'll reach the final goal. And provide maximal exposure to the child, irrespective of the tantrums and all. We keep taking the child. So right now the child is 7 or 8, but by the time the child is 10, 12, 13, the child would be very pro in the mall. So we provide maximal exposure so that the society also gets used to seeing us in the public places. So it goes both ways. So exposure to society and exposure to our children.
Perfect. Yes, ma'am. One last tip from you for our audience.
Yeah. Firstly, I would say that do your own research, because social media pe what you see is not everything is not real.
Yes, very important.
Yeah. Matlab, so many times what happens is you see other parents doing extremely well on social media, and you feel really low that I'm not giving my best, and I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing this, that, matlab, so much. So firstly, stop doing that, because if the parent is showing a life, like even perfect life, it's
Then it is not true.
yeah, maybe the it's only for camera content views, maybe. So you can't trust that. You are doing the best, and trust yourself. I know parents feel guilty about so many things, that I'm not doing this, I'm going to work, I'm not giving time to my kid, and so many. So I would just say you're doing your best. So trust on yourself, trust on your kid, and just everything will just go well.
Wow. It was an amazing discussion, and I'm really glad that we had a conversation with you all. It's so many things that the parents can take from this conversation. Believe me.
Yeah, and I mean so many parents, but always every new parent would give a different perspective.
Yes, definitely. So thank you so much, both of you,
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Thank you for having us.
us. Yeah.
We are truly
We had
honored
a-
to have you both.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.